Ohio Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Scott M. Gray, D.C., across from the Marion Center between TSC and Kroger. For further information, dial 740-386-6580. Also located on the net at goodbackbadback.com. That's goodbackbadback.com.
Scott Spears along with you on a Thursday edition of The Exchange, joined by Charlie Evers, Marianne Michaels, Brenda Donegan, Martha Douse-Manesi, and Shannon O'Neill. Yesterday's quizzer question, which this panel did not give you much help with, name the actor who portrayed the Fat Man in Jake and the Fat Man, the TV series. It was Robert Conrad, who was also Cannon for many years on television. I like Jake and the Fat Man. I have the DVD at home. It's kind of a funny show, kind of a neat little thing. We're going to start off this Thursday by going to Charlie for fascinating facts.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was just thinking about some fascinating facts. And I forgot.
You forgot it.
That's typical when you get a little bit older.
You know, this week, Charlie, when I went to you, and when the doctor, I feel like I'm playing password. You say that thing, that name, that guy.
Right. Boy, isn't it? It's something. It kind of is scary almost. You know, when you're thinking about something and then all of a sudden it leaves.
Maybe your tie's too tight.
Oh.
Loosen it up. That's a nice tie.
Well, yeah, there's Pluto and Mickey Mouse and all those guys.
Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Charlie, why don't you, since you've forgotten your facts today, your faculties, tell everybody what this box is behind you. This will make Marianne cringe, but go ahead, you tell them today.
Well, it says, what does it say on the front?
It says, enter if you dare.
Yes. And so I'm supposed to enter that on Halloween.
Halloween!
And find a surprise in there.
Did you zoom in on the skeleton? Did you see the skeleton over here, Charlie?
Yes, I saw the skeleton, yes. I saw Dr. Gray.
Yes!
Yes.
That skeleton is in good posture.
That's right. Kind of a limp thing. Well, it might be kind of interesting. Is it going to be anything like those people that come out of cakes, you know?
Oh, you want a woman to come out of a cake behind you? Oh, Charlie, I hope your wife's not watching. Holy mackerel.
And your dreams, Charlie.
Yeah, I can imagine, right. Yes.
Marianne, did you forget the words of wisdom today, or do we have words of wisdom?
Yes, we have words of wisdom.
Charlie's already let me down. It's Thursday. We're already on a letdown.
All right. Well, this is a good one from Eleanor Roosevelt, one of the women that I really admire. And this is what she says. Friendship with oneself is important because without it, one cannot have friends with anyone else in the world. You know, you have to like yourself first. And that's true. And a lot of people don't like themselves first. And really, you need to. You need to see something in your life that you know that you're good doing and like yourself.
Loved Eleanor Roosevelt. Anytime I can read anything or watch anything on her, I make sure to do it. Fascinating woman. Buckeye Cluck has returned. Dr. Gray put him there this time. I'm putting my man into the table this week, Marianne. But Buckeye Cluck's back in your shot. He loves you. It's a relationship the two of you have. We're not going to get over to Brenda Duck.
May I move, Dr. Duck? Is it Dr. Duck?
No, it's Buckeye Cluck.
Yes.
Buckeye Cluck.
And I don't want to.
That's earlier on, like you turned Humphrey Bogart into Hoagie Chavez or something. Brenda, what was it you did earlier on in the week, Marianne? Humphrey Bogart, and you said it was
Hoagie Carmichael.
Hoagie Carmichael.
Okay. He'll never let me.
Clears it all right,
I bet Brenda remembers Stardust.
Maybe not. I bet she doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hoagie Carmichael is famous for playing it.
Yeah. Oh, is that who made it? Okay.
And there you go.
I know Jim and I danced to it a few years ago at Christmas at the Palace. Whatever, with 6 or 8 other couples. So.
Brenda, what's on our agenda today?
Well, we're going to stay at home.
Oh, good.
You know, we have a lot in Marion to offer, and so I thought we would talk about a few things here. And the first place that I thought we would start is down on West Center Street at the Palace Theater. You know, it's the John Everson design and opened in 1928 as a vaudeville theater. Mm-hmm. And about once a year, the theater usually has a silent movie, and I can't remember the organist's name. Darn it, I've got Charlie's disease now.
The organist is from Detroit.
Detroit, yes. But he comes down and he plays music set to that movie, and it's really interesting to go and watch it. Until you go to that, you really can't identify with how they enjoyed silent movies, because from what I understand, that was how all silent movies were interpreted back then. And of course, we have the Mighty Wurlitzer there at the Palace that everybody loves to come and listen to. And it's a surprise to a lot of first-time visitors when it comes up out of the pit to the platform and they play, and then as they go back down again. So I was privileged to be a part of the cast of The Singing Cowboy, which made world premiere showing of The Singing Cowboy the past 2 weekends or a couple weekends ago, and just wanted to be a part of history. And when Tina asked me, I jumped at the chance, and we did it. So that's behind us now. Okay, we're going to go on down the street to promo costumes. I think Marion is so fortunate to have locally a company that comes and they take your ideas, you give them the ideas of what you want, or they have their own ideas of costumes for mascots, maybe a logo of some kind, or just a fiction character or whatever. And it's really fascinating to go there and watch them. You know, all you have to do is give them a call, and they're more than happy to show you the whole process through there. But they really have come up with amazing costumes in the years. I don't know how many employees they have. I didn't get a chance to call Dan, but looks like about 6 or 8 maybe that I've seen when I've been in there for tours. The unfortunate thing with Promo is it's not handicap friendly. You do have stairs to climb, or you can take the freight elevator up. So, but it's a very, very nice place to visit. Kids, especially if they're working on any kind of cartoon costumes, would be really interested in that. Now we're going to go on down Center Street to the Marion Union Station. And did you know that Marion has more than 100 trains that pass through here every day? That's why when you come from the west, you need to allow extra time. So if you get stopped at the train tracks there, you've got time to make it to your appointment. And at they worked on it for, oh my goodness, probably 20 years plus, restoring and getting a museum in place. And one of the things that a lot of railroaders or former railroaders like to do is come to the AC Tower and watch the trains go by. And I understand that there are people down there nearly every weekend who bring lawn chairs and just sit there and watch trains. Now I could find more interesting things to do, but a lot of people, especially former railroaders, find a lot of pleasure in that. Okay, then we're going to leave there. We're going to go north up to Marion County Fairgrounds, where we find the Huber Museum. And they've got all kinds of bits and pieces and memorabilia and whatever inside, and then outside they have 2 or 3 shovels. Of course, the Hubers were the founders of American Power Shovel, which had a part in space history as well, with building of the crawlers that carried the shuttles out from liftoff. And I don't know, you really need a curator when you're there, because I didn't understand everything that I saw, but then I don't know a lot about big machinery, but it was interesting to be in there. And then once we see that, we're going to go up Route 4, which is close by, to Lynn School. This school was restored back to its original status back in 1897 when it was built. The Hamilton brothers had the school restored inside and out the way that it was when they attended that school. And they spent, I don't know, hundreds of thousands probably to restore that building. And visitors are transported back to a place in time when they had 10 lunch pails and bench seats, whatever you called them, the recitation seats. Teacher helped me out here. The pot-bellied stove and desks that had inkwells in them. I remember them when I was in school and I wondered what they were because, well, when I was in elementary yet, they were still using a pen that you had to put the thing down in there and fill it. You guys understand my English?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, I understand the inkwells.
Yes, the inkwells.
Full of ink.
But I don't remember. I guess even before that, they used just a pin that they dipped in.
That's right.
Whatever they did.
And then you dip the pigtails of the girl sitting in front of you in there.
Oh, that would have. Oh, Charlie, you're telling yourself. They even have some McGuffey readers out there. So it's just a real interesting trip, especially if your children have never had the opportunity to see a one-room school and an old-time school. So that, again, you might want to call the Historical Society and set up a tour there. They have a couple of ladies who go out there and they're dressed in period clothing and lead you clear through it and even do a couple of school lessons from what I understand. So when you come back to town, if you come in on Route 423, you might want to stop at Stewart's Root Beer and have a coney dog or a beef tenderloin and curly fries and a root beer, or you can come on through town to Main Street and go to Barry's. Is that how you say their name, Charlie?
That's right.
Really good food there. A couple from Argentina run that small restaurant, but it's very, very good food. And that's it for today.
Brenda, I'm glad you mentioned that. First, because of the Linton School. I know Charlie mentioned that once before. What a great asset that is by the Hamilton brothers. And also, when you said coney dog, did you know that the term coney dog is... if you go other places, they have no idea what that means.
I know.
Yeah, I thought coney dog, that's, everybody knows what that means. I took a trip to Manhattan one time, and I was coming back, and I was in New Jersey, and I stopped at a Dairy Queen, and asked for a coney dog, and they said, what's a coney dog? It's a chili dog everywhere else in the world, apparently. I don't know.
Was it taken from Coney Island?
I think so.
I think it was.
I know that's true because our daughter that lives in the eastern panhandle of West Virginia, she and her friend oversee the concession stand down from their housing development. And she started offering coney dogs, and people were going, what in the world are those? And so they had to put beans on them and cheese, and then they would buy them. So it became the most popular thing that they sold out of the concession stand after that.
I wish you grow up.
Nobody knew what they were.
You grow up and you think everybody knows that word. That's just common talk, but it's really not. How much time do we have left in the program today? I think we got enough time to get into a current event. We haven't done that this week. Let's do that today. Self-described, we had the Tea Party movement earlier on. Tea Party. Oh, Charlie, like you never butchered a word. Don't start with me. Here we go. Self-described troublemaker Christine O'Donnell appeared on the Piers Morgan Tonight Show trying to talk about her book, Troublemaker, Let's Do What It Takes to Make America Great Again. O'Donnell, a Tea Party favorite, is best known in Delaware for defeating the heavily favored 9-term congressman and former governor, Michael Castle, in the state's September 2010 Republican Senate primary. She lost in the general election to Democrat Chris Coons. Outside of Delaware, she is perhaps most famous for her claim to have once dabbled into witchcraft and her subsequent ad in which she disclaimed possessing supernatural abilities. Before coming on Morgan's show, she had already told Good Morning America that she regretted the I'm Not a Witch campaign ad. She said experts told her to do the ad and that she had since learned to trust your gut. The trouble started when Morgan asked O'Donnell about part of her book that discussed gay marriage. That's when O'Donnell accused him of borderline being a little bit rude. O'Donnell repeatedly urged Morgan to drop the topic of gay rights, but Morgan would not back down, asking another question about the Pentagon's repeal of its don't ask, don't tell policy. Morgan at one point looked as though he was trying to hold back a smile and insisted, I think I'm being rather charming and respectful. O'Donnell said the gay marriage issue is not relevant or what she is championing, saying the book is meant to inspire the Tea Party movement to bring America back to the Second American Revolution. O'Donnell began looking off camera while asserting that Morgan should try to ask her what she told him she wanted to talk about. At one point, O'Donnell claimed she was being pulled away as a handler tried to block the camera. Morgan, for his part, didn't look particularly invested or bothered when he asked, "Where are you going? You're leaving?" As O'Donnell removed her microphone and asked Morgan if he'd read the book, to which he said, "Yes, but those issues are in your book. That's my point. You do talk about them." Then O'Donnell ended the interview. Okay, well, that was all over last week. You couldn't escape that. And kind of interesting because we've always said that CNN is kind of middle of the road. I couldn't guess what Piers Morgan's politics are, but apparently Christine O'Donnell had a big problem with what he was asking.
Well,
why do you think that was?
She wanted him to ask her questions, and when you're being interviewed, you don't tell people what kind of questions to ask usually, but she wanted him only to ask questions about the book, and apparently he didn't. So she walked off the program, but then afterwards she said she didn't walk off the program. So
well, the interesting thing is I've never read the book, but he said this was in the book. She just said it was something she's not championing right now.
Well,
I don't know.
That's a possibility.
That's a little shaky, though, to me. What do you think, Shannon?
Maybe she was afraid of putting her foot in her mouth again. I mean, let's face it, with the whole witchcraft thing, immediately when you say Christine O'Donnell, that's the only thing I can think of. And I think that's probably true for the rest of the public. Forget about her ever having a career in politics, let's be honest.
Yeah, but what does this do for her to do this? I mean, at some point, doesn't common sense set in and you realize you're on CNN, you're around the world, and they're going to show this if you get up and walk off the set? I mean, is she really that politically unastute?
I think that these politicians so rely on their handlers. Well, my handlers told me to do this. My handlers told me to do that. And I think that really a handler can possibly make or break your career in politics. I think that they're too attached.
Could be. Brenda, what do you think?
I agree with her. The first thing when you said that was I thought about the witchcraft, and I thought, ooh. And even when I heard that she was considering running for an office, I thought, I don't think she'll get too far. But then I must have been out of the world last week because I didn't see any of this. But then again, my husband doesn't often let me watch CNN.
Well, now the interesting thing is, though, about this, I think it happened on Wednesday night. Piers Morgan reran the episode Friday, reran the episode Sunday, and talked about it quite a bit. It got him quite a bit of ratings, and I don't think did too well for her book sales.
He's trying to establish himself as the next man.
Here we go again, John. Password, red. I don't know what are you doing.
The next Larry King.
Yeah, the next Larry King. He's doing this on purpose. I mean, we wouldn't be talking about him, would we? Had he not
Well, he can't
conducted an interview like that.
Well, yeah, but he can't on purpose make somebody walk off.
No, but he could sure, if he knew the person, he could pretty well tell that something was going to happen.
Well, is that a touchy subject? I mean, do you think what he said was wrong?
I don't know. Piers Morgan, like I say, is trying to make a reputation for himself as a controversial figure like Larry King, and he apparently is succeeding. But he's using his guests to propel himself.
I don't know if Larry...
Is he an American citizen?
I don't know. He's
a Limey, isn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think Larry King was ever controversial.
No.
He didn't ask controversial. He wasn't like
That's
that.
one of his wives.
Well, that's something different. I don't think he can fill Larry King's status. I think he's trying to be the interviewer who asks tough questions. Barbara Walters got a rap for years for asking questions like that. I don't think what he asked was all that horrible.
I don't either.
I mean, I don't understand why she walked off.
Well,
Touchy subject.
some people, when they're on a program, they want to sell their book and they want to talk about the book. But apparently he took something out of that book that she wasn't willing to expand upon. So I think that was the problem.
Didn't Larry King have a walkout?
He did, but it was that ditzy cuckoo girl who said that he was being... They always think you're being inappropriate. Well, what do you think you're going to? It's an interview.
That's right.
I mean, do you think it's a conversation?
You should be ready for everything, I would assume.
That's right.
Especially
And
having been a politician.
We had talked before about people that didn't want to go to the Tea Party get-togethers, or forums, because they were afraid they'd be against them. Well, if you know what you're doing, you could go up against anybody.
That shouldn't be a problem.
No,
I agree.
you should be intelligent.
Well, that used to be the case, though, Charlie, but I'll tell you something. If you say something that is totally taken out of context, and one of these news stations, news organizations, anybody, takes a little clipping of what you said, and then you try to deny, you can't deny you said it, but it's hard to go back and say, but I said it in regard to this. If somebody's not there.
Yeah, a lot of things are taken out of context, and that's not fair, really.
Hey, then keep a little recording in your pocket wherever you go.
Well, see, and that's the paranoia of the world now, though, is that people will throw a camera in your face, people will throw a phone in your face. You never know what audience you're going to be out. I think that's crazy. It's her right to walk off, but I don't think he did anything inappropriate. Does anybody think he did anything inappropriate?
I didn't watch the program, so I really can't, I can't be honest about it. I just know what I've heard. But I didn't actually see the program, so I think you almost have to have seen it in order to make some kind of a judgment. An honest judgment.
Do you remember, it's probably been, 20 years ago now, but do you remember when Mike Wallace was doing 60 Minutes, at the height of it, and he did an interview with Barbra Streisand, and they played the footage that they normally don't play, where he was asking Barbara about not having good relationships with men, not having good relationships with her mother, and Barbara was crying and said, would you like to see me this way? And I'll never forget, he said, what did you think, Barbara, this was going to be, and then you made this movie, and then you did this. When you're doing an interview, you can't dictate what questions are going to be asked.
That's true. But then some of the questions are, they want them to be controversial because it gets more buzz from somebody.
But I'd like to go back to what Charlie said, though, because there was a lady in Washington, and I'm going to get Charlie's disease here, too, because her name was Kay something. But she was a brilliant Washington journalist. She wrote a book, and I'll never forget, it was one of the first books I ever read in broadcasting. There's no such thing as an indiscreet question, because the person always has the right to refuse to answer it.
Yes, that's true. That's a good. That's
and Kay, what was her name?
Well, she was a publisher. She was a publisher.
But it wasn't the Washington Post lady.
Oh,
it was Kay. It'll come to me hopefully later on. But it's a brilliant book. I'm sick rubbing off. It's contagious. Let's go into the mailbag real quick because it's a very simple question before we do the quizzer. What do you like in TV news today? Marie and Marion. What do you watch? Shannon, if you're going to watch any kind of news, what do you watch?
I really don't care too much for television news, to be honest with you. I think it's a lot of show. And it's a lot of opinion. It's not really hard news facts. I actually really enjoy a publication called The Week. Take a look at it sometime, Scott. Tell me what you think of it. It's unbiased. It presents all sides and covers all the issues that we really should be talking about. Great stuff.
Good. Martha, what do you watch when you watch television news?
Channel 4.
Local. A lot of people are still in that local vein. Brenda, what do you do when it comes to news?
I hit all of them.
And try to take a little bit in from everything?
Yeah, I have my favorites but I won't say who. But I like to, if I can catch enough of them, I like to hear how they each relate the same story.
And that's interesting, sometimes. Marianne.
Oh, well, I'm a news hound. I am. And my husband criticizes me all the time. So, didn't you just see that on the news? But I really do love the news. And I'm just news, maybe because I was in the news at one time. But I do. But I also watch programs like NCIS and Covert Affairs and what's that one that takes place in the Hamptons that I like so well about this doctor?
I love the ID channel.
I do too.
Oh, I think that's one of the best channels there ever was. Charlie, what do you do in news?
Well, I was in the radio for so long and so critical of stories that when I watch television news, I look for the mistakes they make. And some of the young newscasters have their share, even though some of their material is not written by them. But I'm too critical, I guess, but I'm always looking for mistakes. Isn't that weird?
I heard somebody one time call the McCarthy period the MacArthur period. Well, there you go. We're going to get into the quizzer real quick before we run out of here. Daily Quizzer is brought to you by O. Michael's Fish and Chips, 1116 Mount Vernon Avenue, right here in Marion, 725-3474. And if you're lucky enough to be the first person to answer today's quizzer question correct on the Exchange Marion's Facebook, you'll receive a free fish dinner for one at O. Michael's Fish and Chips. Quizzer question today: who was Bill Cosby's partner on the 1960s TV series I Spy? What was that actor's name? Charlie?
I have no idea.
No idea. What do you think,
I
Marianne?
used to watch that all the time, and I can see his face. I cannot think of his name.
Brenda, do you remember that guy?
Nope.
Martha?
Never watched
Give
it.
me the initials. No, I don't know. Sometimes I can think of things if I'm given the initials. Give me the initials.
RC.
Was that a national show?
Oh, yeah, I Spy. It was on
Yeah.
NBC. Shannon, any guesses?
RC.
You know, Scott, all week long, questions I cannot answer.
Not one guess.
Wow.
Marianne's in her own world. I don't know what's going on over here. We're going to be back on Friday, and we will have the answer for that. Who was Bill Cosby's partner on I Spy? We'll have that for you tomorrow. Take care.